very good morning. You're watching NewsX and I'm Shivani Singh. We are tracking the latest developments regarding the war in West Asia and its implications on the world. Let's also look at oil prices. Crude oil prices have surged amid the escalating war with Iran. Brent crude has spiked from around $70 a barrel before the conflict to over $112 today. A jump of more than 50% in weeks. And the reason? Fighting has effectively shut down the Strait of Hormuz, choking off nearly 20% of the world's daily oil supply. Analysts warn that prices could climb higher, even higher if the disruption drags on, sending shockwaves through global fuel costs and inflation. Let's in fact take a look at how the crude oil prices have changed, because this will help us understand how oil is actually reacting to this entire situation. Remember that is something that is affecting the countries across the globe. So let's look at how oil prices are in fact changing. This is the oil prices tracker. This is WTI crude that is being used in the US as well. The last price that we know of was of $99.64 US dollars. There has been a change of around $5.16, so an increase, because we are talking about spikes here, and the percentage of change is around 5.46%. Now remember viewers that it's important to note that 5% is a very big change for a commodity like oil. Let's also look at Brent crude over here, where the last price was around $112.57. The change is around $4.56 in money, and the change percentage is around 4.22%. So basically we are looking at a 4 to 5% increase in crude prices. And let's also look at another type of crude, which is the Murban crude. Let's look at how that price now looks at. It stands at $117.16. So the change over here has been of $5.35. So again in the $4 to $5 range. Let's look at the percentage change. That's 4.78% of increase in prices in the Murban crude. Let's look at DME Oman, where the last price is around $112 per barrel. We are looking at a change of minus $17.9. So this has in fact seen a downward trend, because and the percentage change is around 13.80% decrease. Remember that Oman is one of the countries that has been hit by the strikes, so there may have been a halt in the production and supply of crude from there. So we are looking at some changes in the negative figures as well. Let's look at the Indian basket now, because that's what matters the most to us. The Indian basket stands at $157.04. There is a change of around $7.11, and the percentage change is in that same range of 4.74%. So in the change rate is around 4 to 5% across the spectrum. Let's also look at Dubai crude, where the last known cost was around $29.99. The change is around 0.94 minus, so less than a dollar. And then there is a percentage change of the negative of 0.72%. So obviously Dubai is also a country that has been embroiled in this conflict because of drone strikes that are being conducted across energy infrastructure in this region as well. Let's now go across to Mr. Anil Jain, who's joining us on the broadcast, who's an economist for understanding how this all affects us. Mr. Jain, thank you so much for taking out your time and for speaking to NewsX. A very good morning to you. So, when we are looking at oil prices, obviously this is something that is seeing a lot of volatility, because it's reacting to those speculative statements that come in from US President Donald Trump, but it's also in fact reacting to how the Strait of Hormuz has now seeing a chokehold by Iran. It's seeing some ships pass, then some ships are not allowed to pass. So obviously it has a chokehold on the global supply chain. This pass has around 12% of the global fuel and oil supply route. So Mr. Jain, when we are talking about oil prices, how are we looking at it going forward 1 month into the war?
Well, as we all know, this oil business is in the speculators' hands. All speculative buyings are are the reason basically for rise in the price. And when this statement was made of peace by the President of America, the oil prices immediately fell because speculators started selling. But now again, those statements have been all discounted, and everybody knows that this war is not going to end very soon. The prices have again seen northward trend, and as you said, they've already touched 112. And I think that in times to come, it is going to have a continuous rise northward, and within a month probably it may touch even 150, which is not very much unlikely. And all this going to happen, from Indian perception, it is going to have a serious impact on Indian economy, because oil prices will give a chain effect into the entire Indian economy. Starting from the rupee, we are seeing that rupee is rising, almost touching 95 now, and it's going to further devalue. Further, nobody can stop it. Whatever intervention is done by the Reserve Bank of India, probably this cannot be stopped. And once the rupee rises, then balance of trade, another problem. The India already is having a negative trade balance since independence, and this is again leading to heavy pressure on balance of trade. Now with balance of trade, then there is an issue of inflation, then shortages in the economy. The shortages are going to play again a big impact, whether it is oil, because whatever the government may say that they have adequate stock of all petroleum products or other subjects. Well, we all know that Strait of Hormuz is not open for everybody. Maybe that we temporarily relief is being given to India, some special treatment is given, but nobody can say that this special treatment will last forever till the war goes on and all that. So this impact will go on, and then ultimately you will see an impact on the GDP also, which is we were anticipating to be 7% plus. I don't think now with this war on, we will be able to cross 5.75, 5.8 and all that. So the entire Indian economy is definitely going to be impacted, and not Indian economy, the whole world is going to be impacted. So we will not say that only we are affected. We will be more seriously affected, because our oil imports are 80 to 80% oil. We have to import cooking gas. Two-thirds of the cooking gas we have to import. So all this is going to have a serious impact, and I don't see a very good scenario in another 6 to 8 months time, because as everybody says, and international media is also talking, this war is going to pull on for 6 to 8 months at least, if not a year and a half and all that. So let's hope that things remain under control of the government. That is what all I can say.
Right, Mr. Jain. You were rightly pointing out that this has larger implications. In fact, if we look at the long term of it, Mr. Jain, I want to understand if, say, hypothetically, negotiations do come through by the 6th of April, which is the deadline given by US President Donald Trump, and the war ceases, then we will obviously still be looking at a long 6 to at least 8 months of increase in oil prices, increase in fuel prices, and we'll see this crisis still go on for a longer duration of time. Do you believe that is going to be the case, Mr. Jain?
I don't think this 10 days deadline is going to yield any positive results, because look at the history of the wars, these wars, and particularly this in perception to Iran. Iran has been fighting wars continuously since in last 50 years. We have seen Iran fought for 8 years with Iraq. Then this Afghanistan war, America was fighting for 20 years, and even after fighting for 20 years, could not get the desired results. Vietnam war, America fought for almost 20 years, 1955 to 75. And then Gulf War in Kuwait also, a very small country. There also America had to fight almost for 1 year in Kuwait. And we are also seeing this Ukraine war going on for last 5 years. So the moment the war starts, and the attitude, the adamant attitude of Iran for not joining any negotiation, although as reported in media, Pakistan, Turkey and Egypt etc. are making serious efforts, but Iran is not responding. There is no direct response, and on the contrary, there is a news that they do not want any arrangement, they do not want any reconciliation. In fact, yesterday Houthis have joined further, and other proxy war agencies which are representing Iran, they have also entered into the fray, and so on. I don't see any result in 10 days at least. We'll have to wait for it.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jain, for taking out your time and for speaking to